Put some respect on my name.
First and foremost, my numbers are better than 15, 16 or so guys that are currently in the Hall.
Here's the hand off to Taylor, looking for some cutback. He finds the room, looking at Fred go. He's across the 30, look at him run. Fred's going. He's at the 50, the 40.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
20, 10, 5, touchdown. 80 yards, Fred Taylor.
Talking modern day guys at my position.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna right on it.
And he's the hand off to Fred, looking for the cutback. He's got room running to the 10. Fred's there. He's at the 20. Fred's on the run to the 25 to the 30. He's going 40. Fred 50. Fred 40. Fred 30. Fred 25, 20.
Y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
You look at the guys that are in the Hall of Fame from a defensive standpoint. Ray Lewis, Derrick Brooks. Look at all these other guys they're trying to put in the Hall of Fame.
Gerard on the give. Here's Taylor.
Put some respect.
Busting through. Fred Taylor making a cut. Taylor is gone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
These the same dudes that I murked every Sunday.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna right on it.
But he knows he doesn't have a big play team, and Jacksonville does.
Draw play. Taylor skips 2 tackles. Right, and here we go.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flags. A 90-yard run.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Welcome in, everybody, as we get set for a weekend without Jaguars football. And I think we all kind of breathe a sigh of relief, right? That we don't have to deal with it at least for a week. And we'll see if any changes are going to be made. I don't necessarily expect at this point, Tommy, that anything is going to happen in that regard. But nonetheless, we'll go through the bye week and see what happens next week, and then we'll see what happens in the final 6 games of the season. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Mike Dempsey on assignment for a day. He'll be back with us on Monday.
Enjoy your time off, Demps.
Just took a day off here with the bye week coming up this week,
Sure.
Trying to get away a little bit. I will say, we've played the Fred Taylor Open, a couple times this week with him being in the final 25.
Yep.
Right, in the Hall of Fame process, and we're all rooting for Fred to get in. And I've said it several times over the years, but it feels like a good day to mention it again.
Yeah.
As we hear Fred on the Open, watching the Fred Taylor highlight reel, wherever you can find it, obviously includes that run we had at the end of that, the 90-yarder against Miami.
Oh, yeah.
There in the playoffs in 99, January of 2000.
Yep.
Watching Fred Taylor is a mood lifter.
Right.
If you're in a real down kind of mood, like you just watch Fred Taylor and go, it wasn't always whatever I'm feeling about whatever you're feeling about, in that moment. And there's plenty of Jags fans. Tommy, we hear from them every now and then. We've had a couple of callers here in the last couple of weeks that are saying, they just became Jags fans here in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They had been whatever they had been before, but came over to the Jags. And so they're trying to figure out why exactly the fan base is reacting as harshly as they are, to some of the things that they're reacting to right now.
Right.
And it's, you haven't had 25 years of this, right? The first 5 years was mostly Fred Taylor, going 90 yards. That's mostly what we remember are those kinds of memories from the first 4 or 5 years of Jaguars football. And then the last 25 years, every now and then, they'll have a team where you're like, that's our guys.
Absolutely.
And they remind you of that late 90s team. And then the next year they go right back down into the depths of whatever it is to be a Jaguars fan. So for the fans that haven't been around it very long, I almost envy it, right? That they don't carry some of the battle scars that longtime Jaguars fans carry.
And look, let's be honest. It's been mostly since Shad Khan's been the owner. Because
no doubt.
Del Rio had a nice run.
He did.
He had a couple years that they were really good.
05, 06, 07, they were good.
They
Two
were.
of those 3 playoff years.
Absolutely. They were very good. So and then, Marone, and that whole thing and Caldwell and whatnot and Gene Smith before that, and then, Shad Khan buys the team and they've had the one really good year. And then they imploded. 2022, they had another good year, and then they kind of imploded. And now we're stuck at 2-9.
Yeah.
And, you just wonder what's going to happen. I know what I want to happen.
Yeah.
I want them to fight. I want them to all take the field if they're healthy enough and go win 6 in a row. I don't care. Look, draft picks, whatever. To me, it's never been about the talent, Tone, the past. Since Doug's been here, it hasn't been the talent. It's been the attitude. The attitude needs readjusting. The attitude needs to be different. I made a thing on Twitter during the game about Detroit's players. Man, they play like their coach is.
Yeah.
And you know how Dan Campbell is. And unfortunately, so do ours.
Yeah.
And they play like their coach. He's not this outspoken, fiery, rock and roll kind of guy. And that's okay. You can win with that. He's won that way before.
Yeah.
But you got to have the right guys in place for that.
Yeah.
And then it's a question if you have the right. And I'm not talking talent.
No, I know what you mean.
I'm talking attitude.
Yeah, I know. Like that Eagles team that won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They reminded me. I didn't grow up in the era you did of watching those Bears teams, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they matched the attitude of their coach, right? Like they were Ditka. Like they were just a walking form of Ditka. And one of the things that Ditka did was he just said, go be yourself.
Yep.
On the field, wherever you are. You guys all go be yourself. I don't need you to get in line for me.
Just don't get arrested.
Right. Like, that was kind of the line. And I think Peterson had that same kind of thing in Philadelphia. Like, he is the more laid-back kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, he just tells his guys to go be themselves. I don't think he's limiting anything about who anybody on the team is. And they keep talking about bringing in, we want the right attitude in the locker room. We want a bunch of – they've said it publicly. They want the good guys in the locker room. Well, they got a bunch of good guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't feel like it was really falling apart until Sunday in Detroit for whatever myriad of reasons that might be.
Yep.
But they don't have a bunch of guys in the locker room that when they come in from a game like that are going to throw stuff around and scream and get on everyone else in the room to say, this is not good enough.
Right.
Like not demanding it from the room. And I think Philadelphia had a bunch of guys in that locker room that when it got to the point where you needed that, they would do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jacksonville has anybody
you
in that
have
regard.
a lot of veterans on that roster that have been around a lot, that have been through the ups and downs, that know what it's like to fight out of a hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That know what it's like to prepare the same, even harder as things are not. And when you don't have a bunch of old guys that the young guys can, at least follow or try to follow, it's hard, for them to figure it out too. I think with Doug, you just got to have a team that's filled with self-starters. Don't really need the head. Listen, and I don't mean this in such a negative way, but at some point in your NFL career, you don't necessarily need your coach.
100%.
You don't need him to motivate you. You don't. You need him to do what? On Sundays, make the right calls. Whether you're going to go for it on fourth down, you're going to throw the red pen, whatever it is.
Give us a chance to win in the moments.
Give us a chance to win. Other than that, I'm a veteran. I know what I got to do. I know what I got to do to be ready throughout the week. I know how to take care of my body, take care of my mind, study, watch tape, ask questions if I need to, go to my coach if I need to, all that stuff. But I love Tom Coughlin, but I didn't go out and win one for the Gipper. You know what I mean? I won for my teammates, I won for myself, and I won for the fans and the organization. But I didn't go out there and win for the coach. You're a professional, at a certain point, I don't know. But anyway, if you're going to have that kind of coach, you got to have that kind of locker room. And I don't think they have enough of those guys that can turn it around. What have I said for weeks? If it's going to change, it's going to come from within the locker room. It hasn't changed. Yeah. And no coaching in the world is going to be able to change that. And not currently as they are today under Doug Peterson.
I know. Look, you guys dealing with, Tom, especially early on.
Yeah.
And in 96, when you guys turned it around, how much of that turnaround, look, you guys obviously had some kind of belief that you weren't living up to the standard that you were holding for yourselves week to week, right? Like, that's why that kind of run happens, is because there is kind of that internal thing. Coughlin's going to put pressure on you to meet whatever that standard is every moment that he's around you, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of feel that I have for Tom Coughlin, and we've heard you guys talk about that kind of thing before. But what happened in that locker room that really turned it around?
Well, look, first of all, this is Tom. That was Tom's second year as a head coach in the NFL, so he's still trying to figure out what he's going to, continue on doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really think he got us so mad at him that it brought us together because there was a lot of bitching and moaning about him and his rules and, wearing the right socks and the tie being up and getting these fines. And back then, the fines were nothing like they are today, but they were significant enough where you're like, man, this is BS. Like, what's going on? And this and that. And then you would come together. And look, when we were 3-6 or whatever we were, we felt close in a lot of games. Not every game, but we felt like, man, a play here, a play there. And then we just had enough guys. And, Tom did a nice job putting the locker room together. I was talking to Bees a week ago, and he was a rookie that year. Him, K. Hard, T. Brack, Cheever, Reggie Barlow, got some great players. K. Hard, of course. And he's like, when we walked in, we had like 30 veterans. Like there was a ton of veterans that we knew because we watched them play. We respected because we had the respect. You know what I mean? And we listened to them. And you kind of, you led the way, so to speak. So look, and back to no different than what Campbell has and what his GM have put together. Look at that roster. Yeah. Look at that depth chart. You're like, okay. You look at that O-line. You know every name on that O-line.
Absolutely.
You know where they've been for the most part. Yeah. Some have been drafted. Some have been brought in.
They carry 12 of them.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that.
Like, that's a crazy number in today's NFL.
Leaving that front.
It tells you about that attitude.
Yeah.
Right, that they have in Detroit. The way they built it was through that.
Yeah.
Like, they added a bunch of stuff around it, and there's no disputing that they added a bunch of stuff around it. But the heart of that team is they can do whatever they want to with those front five.
Yeah.
Like anything. We need to run, we'll run. We need to pass, we'll pass.
But think back to Doug in Philly. He had that with that O-line.
100%.
That O-line was incredible.
Yeah.
Massive, agile, mean.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey was the perfectly built center, and he looked little, but he wasn't little.
No, he's all
6'4", 300 pounds, and he can knock you on your tail easily. Yeah. They had that attitude. Our O-line doesn't have that attitude.
No. I don't think they're, and we've talked about this kind of glancing here the last couple of weeks. I don't think the offensive line this year is any worse than it was in 22.
No.
I don't know that it's any better than it was. It's better than it was last year because they don't have a center that's getting in the way.
Yeah.
On every snap, right? Like, at least that part has changed. And you saw it on Sunday, right? When Morse went out for a little bit, like at times in that game, and Fortner came in, he was getting shoved into Mac's legs on virtually every snap he was on the play. It's like, well, whatever their plan was for this guy to maybe long-term come back as the center, I don't know how.
Just for the record, so later after the show, I'll do my podcast, and I want to do like a where they rank in team stats.
Sure.
And their O-line, they're tied for 8th with sacks given up overall in the league, and they're tied for 7th in yards per carry. So that's a pretty decent job. They're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
But Trevor didn't get hurt in the pocket. He got hurt running out in the open water.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. But it's a different kind of O-line, it feels like, than like thinking about Phillies.
Oh, for sure.
It's just a different mentality. I don't know why. I mean, but look, if you really peel it back, Tone, the defense has let this team down.
It's the worst in football.
And time. You look, their rankings. I mean, at the bottom, near the bottom. I just don't get a lot of things with what Ryan Nielsen's trying to do. And I have questions about, does he feel like all we heard coming in, press. He's got Darby in off coverage all the time. I thought Darby's strength was press, was man to man or what have you.
Yeah. And
then he's off, and it's like, well, why are you playing off? Do you not have the personnel to play the defense you really want to play? And then you think about like the D-line. This is going to sound bad, but I'm sorry. Your best 4 or your best 3 are Josh and Trayvon and Eric at defensive tackle.
100%.
And whoever that 4th guy is. I want to see Mason Smith. I think there's some inner stuff going on there. Pull, power, struggle. But those 3 guys and the 4th, Jefferson, Mason Smith, you don't leave the field.
Devon, whoever it is.
You don't leave the field. Listen, Devon, Lacey, and Ledbetter, they're fine. They're not bad. But I will say this, and mostly all of them don't. They got pushed around by Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Hamilton was down the field like 10 yards more than once.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the only one. I saw Ledbetter push back there. I saw Lacey push back there. Lacey had a little bit better, stouter of a game. But they're not, those three right there. By the way, I also looked up sacks. You know who's third on the team in sacks?
No, that would be the guy they traded. Right,
he's still third. Yeah. He's still third. Why? Because those interior guys aren't doing anything. Other than when Armstead's on that guard, he is getting pressure. Gosh, I wish I could talk to it. Like, can we not make a deal here, Eric? You know what I mean? Like, I tell you what, you get us a sack at DT, we'll give you 5 reps at the end. But for the record, against the run, he is good at the end. Him and Sewell were going at it, and he was standing him up. He was playing very physical against the run as a defensive end. Eric was, but he's better as a defensive tackle, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense, and I don't know at this point what expectations you can put on that for changing, here within the 2024 season. I certainly don't expect it to. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today asking, look, the Jags have a bye week. What are you doing with it? Jaguars fans. So we'll talk about that as we go through the show today. Dylan, I know I have Bowles versus Walton tonight at 7:30. What do you have going on with Baldwin being eliminated last week?
I think I'm going to go to the Nice Oakleaf game, and I'll be co-hosting the Friday Night Lights with Hacker tonight.
Oh, there we go.
So I'll, we'll see how that goes tonight.
Yeah.
Then I will be tossing it to you when I get done with the game tonight with Bowles and Walton. Look forward to listening to that. We'll get into all things Jaguars. All right. Well, I'll take a deep breath and continue to plunge into the
Friday,
depths.
baby. We live in a great state, great city. We're good, man.
No doubt, man.
Great country.
Life is good. We'll talk Jaguars through a good life, and we'll continue to do that next as we get into it here on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening on 1010 XL.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Stretch game day as far as you can with an extra quarter of Teal Talk. Join Hacker Leon and Coach Campo for the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day. Brought to you by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Imagine driving a late model car of your dreams at a fraction of the original sticker price. For the very best in low mileage cars in Jacksonville, visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom. All luxury cars are serviced and inspected, many with a certified warranty. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Anderson. Energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, save 20% on your entire project. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Once in a lifetime savings.
No corporate jeweler does that.
Beard's Diamonds does. It's their incredible 44th anniversary sale.
Everything store-wide is on sale, up to an unbelievable 44% off at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Oh my God. Oh, what's that horrible smell? Sorry. We've been waiting forever to have our septic tank pumped.
Call Duck Duck Rooter. We don't make you wait.
When you're stuck, call the duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Leon Searcy here. Come watch the Miami Wake Forest game with me at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island. Kickoff is at noon, so come have lunch and watch the Canes with me. See you Saturday at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Dailies Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Dailies is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners, do you need custom large metal fab gates or automatic gate controls? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they stand on the reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. So call Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821, coiljacks.com.
Everything about the game has changed, except for the most important thing. What you have inside. It is what drives the game. It refuses to be ignored. It sweats every day, turns an athlete into a legend. Gatorade, is it in you?
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we shouldn't really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASC certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Tommy, did you watch Thursday Night Football last night?
I watched a little bit of it before.
Did you see the second half?
I did not. I saw the snow. Ooh. Yeah, the snow looked cool.
My
this morning I watched the highlights.
Holy cow, was that fun.
That reminds me of up north, growing up north, playing in the snow.
You know, I saw Pete Prisco. He was kind of complaining about it, you know, like football being played in that kind of weather. It's ridiculous. And I know in Cleveland they're talking about maybe building a dome for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm like, oh, well, that would – when they announced that, I was like, well – I don't love that. Like, I'm not in Cleveland having to deal with the elements.
No, right.
Right, when I'm going to a game.
Right.
And I don't know if I would feel different if that was. Is that the heat that the Jags get in the early part of the year where fans eventually just go, I've had enough of this in December. I do not know if that's how Browns fans would react or are reacting to all of that kind of I can only tell you as a spectator in Jacksonville, Florida, I really enjoy that there's a handful of games in the NFL every year where I get to see that kind of thing.
Right.
Where they're playing in that much inclement weather.
Right.
Like it's the only sport in America where we still see that. You don't get it in baseball. You don't get it in basketball. Football, they play through the elements.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool part of the sport. I don't want that to go away with every team having a dome. That's lame.
I don't either. But look, last night, just growing up in that kind of stuff, like when it snowed like that, it wasn't cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you look at, well, what happened with the KC Buffalo game, right? I mean, that's freezing temperatures that you can't
Miami
sit
game
in.
Last year was
you
crazy.
Can't, or Miami, I'm sorry. You can't sit in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get like, but I still want the
frostbite.
elements. I still want the elements, you know? I mean, because think about that. How last year, one game with the frost, you know, where it was freezing temp, maybe two
to that degree
out of the whole year. You know what I mean? You can live through that.
Yeah.
Now, I do think Super Bowl should be played in the sunshine,
warm weather.
Yeah, a dome,
at least
fine,
as warm
whatever,
as
but
January gets, February gets.
Yeah.
right. Like, which is why you're not generally going to play it outdoors in New York. They did that for a year. Right?
Yeah,
you know, like that kind of thing. But it's not going to be a yearly thing. It's going to be somewhere where the weather's going to be nice.
You're going to Florida, you're going to Miami, you know, you're going to Tampa, you're going to New Orleans, maybe San Diego or Tempe, you know, something like that. Like, that's a vacation. You've been, especially if you're coming from up north in those elements, you're like, man, I can't wait to get to the sunshine and play some football.
Absolutely.
You know?
Like, I don't need the Super Bowl to be played in that weather that we saw last night. But I think it's really cool that we get a handful of games in the NFL that do look like that.
I like a playoff game being in like that. I mean, that's 100%. Part of the deal right there, man. You got to figure out the elements.
I know you grew up in the elements.
Yep.
What is your favorite memory of playing in that kind of weather?
Well, you're going to laugh, but when I was in 7th grade, maybe I was in 5th grade. No, I think I was in 7th grade. I was in a senior team. And my aunt and uncle, not blood related, but my aunt Peg and Uncle Vin came into town, and we had a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle bet me a Atari video game of my choice.
Okay.
If we'll bet on the game, and he goes, how much you think you're going to win by? And I said, we'll win by 30. He goes, by 30? Are you out of your mind? And I was like, no, we're gonna beat him by 30. And anyway, it's freezing temperatures. Now, it's not cold and nice and flurries. It's more like, you know, minus, more like 0, maybe a little minus. It was pretty chilly.
Yeah.
Pretty chilly. And midway through like the third quarter, we scored like 32 points. We're up 32-0. So I turned to the stands. I was like, yeah, like won this Atari game. I think for the pros was the AFC Championship game, man. That was. And you look back, you got to wonder, did those lights go out on accident or did they go out on purpose? Because we had a lot of momentum in that game. Those lights went out for 17, 19 minutes, and we didn't go in. I don't think we went in. We went in late. Like, we thought it was going to come back on.
Yeah.
So we're standing there, you know, in the cold, and it was cold. I know a lot of Jag fans went up for that game. It's interesting. My wife was in the stands for that game. She's part of the cheerleading team. I didn't know her at the time, but that was a cold one. But man, just a great. I mean, one game away from the Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about. Like that was freezing temperatures. There was snow on the ground. The worst part about it was a grass field, so it was like cement. It was hard.
Yeah.
You know, you slipped a little bit. It was hard to land on, but other than that, man, it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. You know, and then if you win, you go to the Super Bowl.
Go into the Super Bowl.
It's all worth it.
It'll be warm at the Super Bowl.
That's right. In a dome or wherever, right? Doesn't matter. It'll be
wherever
warm.
they happen to be playing it. We're not going to have to deal with whatever we got to get through tonight, boys.
Yep.
You know,
That's right.
like that kind of thing. And look, obviously, you can keep everyone focused in a moment like that. Like no one's wandering off in their mind doing their own thing.
Right.
It's like, guys, if we win, you've won a lot of football games in your life.
Yeah.
This is the biggest one you've ever played.
Ever.
You know,
Ever.
like that kind of thing.
Let me tell you, that loss stung for a long time.
Yeah.
They still sting.
Yeah.
You know, they do, 96 and 99. That's why we want this team to turn it around. Won't happen this year, I'm afraid, unfortunately, unless they somehow go on a 6-0 run and finish 8-9 and they get in on a wild card, or maybe maybe the rest of the division craps down their leg.
Yeah. I think
stranger things have happened.
It's legit to me. Obviously, you have the division rivalries, and those are going to be at the top of your list. I think you put Pittsburgh in there, too, because they were in the division, for a long time.
Central, heck yeah.
Right, and they were Pittsburgh.
They were the team to beat.
I think Baltimore, to some degree, for the same kind of reasons.
Yeah.
Right, they were in the Central together, so you have that kind of thing. But I think outside of those kind of rivalries that the Jags developed, New England feels like the next one that I kind of get my blood up for a little bit, and I think it started with that AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
It's the history of it. This year when they beat them in London, Tommy, it's only the third time the Jags have ever won a game against the Patriots.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Y'all beat them in the playoffs.
Yep.
Right?
We beat them in the wild card here in Jags.
Yeah.
Yep.
You beat them after you lost the AFC Championship game. You beat them in the playoffs. Between that and when they beat Tom Brady here.
Right.
In 2018, they had never beaten the Patriots again.
Right.
Right. It took that long for them to beat the New England Patriots again, and that included
what
playoff
happened to that team, man? They got off to a great start in 18.
They did.
Gosh,
and
you
then
just reminded me.
And then again, it took until this year where New England's as bad as they've been in 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. For the Jags to beat that team again. It's only the third time they've ever beat the Pats.
Wow. Yeah, so you'd have to. That's a big rivalry right there, man. I tell you, that old AFC Central was great. Baltimore, Cincy, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and us.
Yeah,
that was a badass division.
Yeah,
very physical.
Baltimore and Pittsburgh. That's
yeah, no doubt. They don't like each other.
The AFC South is what the AFC South is, but they don't have anything that comes close to what those Jaguars teams were when they were in the Central.
Yep.
Going up against Pittsburgh every year and going up against Baltimore every year when they were developing that defense. That's when basically they came in.
Yeah.
The Jags were there watching that develop year by year until they became what they became.
Yeah.
Right. And that team that just wasn't going to be stopped until they won a Super Bowl that year. Jacksonville was dealing with that.
Yeah.
Those early years in the Central. They were watching that be built at the same time that Pittsburgh was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has never not been Pittsburgh since they became Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right? They're still that right now.
Yeah.
That's a football team. They lost that game last night, Tommy. They're 8-3.
I know. I
I
like Tomlin, man. I just like the way he coaches.
We were all waiting for it to fall apart on him.
I know.
They're 8-3.
Yeah. It's attitude, Tone. It's Baltimore's got the same thing. That would be great going out to L.A. to take on his brother. Monday Night Football. What a cool. That'll be cool. But Baltimore's Baltimore's always been a physical type thing. You know, I mean, when they came in 96, I remember Baselli fighting Benny Thompson, one of their safeties, remember, for hitting Brunell late or something like that. And the rivalry just was on after that.
Ozzie built it right.
He did, Ozzie he was a great GM. Great GM.
Yeah.
And they also had no, he was the head coach. Was he the head coach before Billick? Great coordinator. Or was he their he was their coordinator. That's right. Who am I thinking of? What is that gentleman's name? He was a fantastic coach. You're going to punch me in the face for not remembering his name. He was the head coach, too, after Baltimore. You got his name?
No.
I'll think of it. He was phenomenal. But anyway, they built it right, and it does. If you think about it, Tone, so that's why it's so important for your GM to match what he's going to build to the coach, right?
Yeah.
And if the GM, so you got to factor. Well, you asked Trent Baalke, what kind of team are you building? Like, what's your identity as a GM and what you build as a roster? Clearly, it's not, be the biggest and baddest and toughest up front, because that hasn't been the case, right? On occasion, here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been built kind of like skill positions first, and now granted, look, I don't want to trade Brian Thomas Jr. for any tackle in the draft.
No.
I don't, and I wouldn't. He's special.
And I think you can do it different ways, right? Cincinnati got to a Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in the league, right? It's because they were willing to dedicate whatever resources they had to the skill position guys.
And D-line.
Right.
Their defense was good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can build it in different ways.
You can.
Detroit has built it the way they've built it. And now, because Detroit is what Detroit did, everyone's going to try to match that formula for a while. It's not rocket science
Yeah.
in the league. Like when things like that happen, and you can see it kind of across the league. The run game is more important this year than it has been in a long time.
Yep.
In the National Football League, it's more important's not the right word. It's more stressed.
Yeah.
Than it has been in a long time, across the league. And I think part of that is the response to, look, if everyone's going to play this wide open kind of game, then we're putting 2 safeties deep.
Right.
Right? Like everyone's like, we're not going to have all these guys in the box anymore. We got to have 2 guys deep to deal with this kind of stuff. And finally, offensive coordinators in the league said, well, if they're going to do that, we got to run them out of it. Right? Like that's how we get the safety back
down.
in the box, right? We got to run them out of that.
Right.
So they've finally kind of switched it back up to that. At some point, it's going to go back to we got to play 2 deep. We're getting killed.
Right.
All
and
the
the
time.
best play callers keep that defense off balance, whether you're setting up the run by using the pass or vice versa.
100%.
That's and you got to adapt during the game. Those are the best play callers because the things change throughout the game, and you got to be able to adapt to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Our question of the day today asking what you're going to be doing during the bye. We'll share what we'll do during the bye as we go through the show today as well. Want to get it back into, you mentioned Shad Khan at the beginning of the program and exactly how we feel about Shad and where we're at, right? With the process of where they are right now in the middle of this season at 2-9.
Yep.
Nothing's been changed yet. Obviously, a lot of people are very frustrated. I'm not saying I'm not. I'll let you know what my level of frustration is as we get into it, but where we're at with Shad Khan right now as the owner and what he's decided to do with his front office and coaching staff, which is what he's got power over as the owner. He can switch it up whenever he wants to. That's his prerogative. Hasn't made that kind of decision yet. Doesn't mean that I don't think he won't at some point. I think the writing's on the wall with a lot of this, but we'll discuss that as we go through it. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are the coaches for the last 6 games or anything short of that with where we're at. All right, in the organization right now. But we'll dig into that as we continue along. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Get wet with Captain Kevin. Whoa. And remember to bring your net on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Look at him.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Hurricane season is here, and now's the time to think about a home generator. My friends at Ricketts Electric can make sure your home always has power. They can install the perfect generator for your home and are even offering a 10% discount this month if you mention 1010XL. So call my friend Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960 or find them on Facebook. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them at 320-5960.
I-9 Sports covers the First Coast with great sports for kids 3 to 17, and winter and spring registration is open right now. New girls volleyball and flag at Duval Charter, plus plenty for boys and girls in Nocatee, too. It's all at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Bold City Brewery invites you to celebrate Dubs and Duval all season long with a cold pint. Enjoy all their beer, seltzer, ciders by logging on to boldcitybrewery.com. Head to the production house on Roselle Street in Riverside or Bold City downtown and be bold.
Yo, E.T. here. You need the perfect spot to unwind with friends, family, or coworkers? Dart Bar is just right off King Street. Darts, pool, and foosball. Dart Bar has all the games to keep the fun rolling. With 20 taps, 200 plus cans, and plenty of non-alcoholic options. Dart Bar has something for everyone. Plus, we host community events and leagues and can accommodate everything from company happy hours to milestone birthdays. Dart Bar is your go-to place for fun, drinks, and great times, no matter the occasion.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars senior correspondent Brian Sexton on the situation with the Jags.
Something's going to change, and I know people want it right now, but that doesn't help change it for the rest of this season. It creates more problems oftentimes. Look, I've done this for 31 years. I've never seen an in-season coaching change make a difference. So you might as well just stay the course and go through the rest of this season. The schedule gets easier. You're not playing the Lions anymore. You've got the Titans and the Jets and teams that fit more where you are. I would stay right where I was, understanding that nobody believes that anything is staying the same when the season is complete.
Brian Sexton of Jaguars.com. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Rolling along here on a Thursday, or it's a Friday.
Happy Friday, baby.
My goodness, what's going on in my head? Friday edition of Jaguars Today. Tom McManus here with us as well. We're not going to have you in next Friday, Tommy, because
Yeah.
we're all going to be off.
That's right.
So we won't see you for a
Happy
couple of weeks.
Thanksgiving, man.
I know Dad Bods have a show coming up before the Houston game, the next home game for the
we'll
Jags.
be at the Duval House, I think around 10:30.
Mhm.
10:30 to 12:30, and then we send off the crowd into the stadium, and should be a great one. Fourth and Gold will be there. They're a charitable organization, so hey, Dad Bod's giving back to the community, man, and have a chance to play some tunes. So hopefully you can come out and join us. That's December 1st, after the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
There we go. Yeah. Well, like I said, we're not going to be in next Friday, so we couldn't promote it going into the weekend.
Appreciate
and
that,
And we all get a Friday off of having to do keys to victory for this Jaguars team.
It's been Groundhog Day every week for the past 5-6 weeks, man. It's not pretty. It's not funny. I mean, it gives you a lot of content, you know what I mean? Because you can always talk about the team in different ways and whatnot, but it's not, we want them to win.
Yeah.
It's more fun when they win, and it's
no doubt.
exciting, and everybody's excited, and, it's just
I don't think,
just a
with the
drag
years
when they
we've been doing that, Tommy, I don't think I've ever been more miserable trying to put that together than I was last week.
Yeah.
Going into it's like I got to come up with how they win.
Yeah.
Right? It felt so hopeless to me, that game. Even with my level of hopelessness, I'm surprised that the result, like 52-6, is way worse than I thought it was likely to be, but it's not outside the realm of possibilities of what I thought could happen with where the team was going into that game. It doesn't make it any less embarrassing, but it was, we spent time trying to come up with how they win. It's like I so low a chance that they were going to win that football game.
Silver lining, our punter's the number one punter in the league.
They got a punter and a kicker.
And a kicker, and Ross, the long snapper, does a good job. So that's a good trio to keep on special teams. I think Daniel Thomas is somebody. I wish more guys played like Daniel Thomas. The way he runs down as a gunner, man, he is relentless.
Good player.
Absolutely. I did see that play last night where the guy got driven right into the bench. That was pretty funny. Watch out. Here he comes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Have a seat, buddy.
Wanted to talk about Shad Khan.
Yeah.
And where we're at with it right now. I know we've both expressed, I'm not surprised that nothing's been done yet.
Yeah.
Right? Given what we've seen from Shad Khan since he's been the owner of the team. It would have been out of the character that we've seen him show in these kind of moments for him to have pulled the trigger. Not that I wouldn't be in favor of it. I'm fine with cleaning house. I'm fine if they had come in on Monday and said, GM, head coach, offensive, defensive coordinator, goodbye.
Yep.
Right? We've seen enough. We'll figure out exactly what that's going to look like going forward for the final 6 games of the year. But we've seen enough to know where we're at, with those 4 guys on the team. But I'm not all that surprised that it hasn't happened yet. But how do you just feel about Shad Khan in general at this point?
As an owner, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, he put a lot of trust in Balky. He's put a lot of trust in Doug. Somebody told him this is the best roster ever assembled.
Yeah, I don't think he came up with that on his own.
Look, his record is terrible. But you got to think, look, when he's talking to the other owners, they're like, "What's going on? Why you guys stink so bad? Why you guys?" I mean, you got to think he wants to have a winning team,
no doubt.
I mean, they're making a ton of money, hand over fist, but all the owners are, and you got to think they're competitive to where they want bragging rights. They want to say, "Yeah, look at me and my team. Look how many guys went to the Pro Bowl. Look how many guys are all pro. Look at the Super Bowl ring." That's what they all want. You know what I mean? So. I think in the early part of his ownership, he was so hands-on. I don't think he really, knew football that well. I got to think he knows football a little bit better after all these years. I'd like to know how much Tony, his son's involved. He seems to do a good job with that AEW. That's a professional organization.
They've turned Fulham around too.
What's that?
They've turned Fulham around too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, I mean, I don't know. Look, this year's just been so disappointing for everybody, but even more for the owner. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of people, but he's making billions. Well, he is, but all the owners are making billions because that's the way they're set up, and they're going to continue to make that with the TV money and everything else. So, I don't know. I was like you. I would have initially, because I was so emotional. I was like, get rid of them, all four of them. Just get rid of them. Just have your interims, you know. And then the player. Listen, for the record, the players are next. Unless you were, secured by a long-term big deal contract, you're on the block. And some of you that think aren't on the block, you may be on the block because you haven't performed well. You haven't executed well. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't make a change. I think I said if I were Shad, I would tell, saying this, believing that he's hands-on now, I would have said to Doug, hey, go public that you're calling the plays from now on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the relationship. We can deal with that later. You're not firing him. He's part of the game plan. He's part of everything. But you are calling the plays. And I may whisper in his ear, say, you know what, I don't really care who calls the plays, but you're going to say publicly that you call the plays. It's enough of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of this mystery. Number two, I would tell him, being that I'm a hands-on owner now, tell that defensive coordinator of yours to keep his best players on the field and only spell them when they're tired. Don't give these backups full series. That's why they're backups. They can come in and spell. So things got to change. If I'm not going to fire anybody, you still have to have change.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So however you get Ryan Nielsen to do that,
what they're doing isn't working.
And you take over the play calling. That's what I would have, if the very minimum.
Yeah, but there was, before the season started, there were thoughts out there that Shad Khan had expressed that he would like for Doug to be the play caller.
Yeah, I remember that. Right.
So
why isn't he? And maybe he is.
And why, with the way things have happened to this point, is it not enough?
Yeah.
Right? Like, wherever they're at right now, you've had these conversations with everybody that's involved. I don't think the loyalty is all bad, right? Like, I don't think it's all bad. I think it's hurting the team right now.
Yep.
That he's not willing to pull the trigger on some of these things that we all expect to happen at some point. And it leaves this kind of weird space in a lot of people's heads that, well, that means maybe he won't, make the decision that I would like to see him make in this regard. I'm still relatively confident that Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson are going to be let go, but I'm not positive that those guys are going to be let go. And I think the flip side of him being that loyal is it's a real positive for if you do let those guys go, the next guy you're bringing in, I think it does up the level of guy that potentially you can get. If there is some stability from the owner, and when he says he's bringing you in for 3 years, we're going to try it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he means it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no, he's not going to slow play that stuff, and you're not going to be brought to a spot where a year in, he's just going to let you go. Urban got let go because Urban was doing what he was doing in a bar in Cincinnati, lied to the owner about it. Then the owner found out about it.
Yeah.
I thought he might get fired then.
Kick the player.
Right, but then Shad said, okay, the players were complaining.
Yep.
Right, like different things were happening. And then he kicks the kicker.
Yep.
And it's, we got to move on.
Well, listen, the other side of all of that. So you think about that. So Shad Khan is going to fire a Super Bowl winning coach that went 9-8 his first 2 years here.
Yep.
You're going to fire him. So then every coaching candidate's probably going, well, what happened? What did he do? I know 2-9 or whatever he end up this year is no good. What did he do that you got rid of him?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And that's and back to Urban. The thing in the bar was week 4. You talk about egg on the face. Are you kidding me? You had to fire Urban Meyer after it was very fireable. It's a fireable offense.
No doubt.
But after 4 weeks, I mean, they're going to look at you. All the other owners are looking at you like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing down there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not as easy. I know fans just went, just fire him. Yeah, screw it. We got interims. Let's just take over. It's no big deal. Mm-hmm. It is a big deal. It's a big deal for the owner to fire somebody mid-season. Waiting till the end of the year to do it, it's way different than doing it in the middle of the season. I would have liked it, but I understand why he probably didn't, or most likely why he didn't. But I would definitely demand change. There's got to be change within that offense and defense because they have been underperforming. I'll tell you this, and I don't think you'll get it because you got a GM in the way, but if I was Doug, I'd say, look, Shad, I don't care Draft status, I don't care contract. I don't care about any of that. I'm playing who's the best out there, period. I'm not going to be told that Eric's got to play end. He's playing tackle. I don't care. Let him deal with that. You deal that with the GM. I'm not dealing with this anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If these guys aren't getting the job done, I'm benching their butt.
Yeah.
I'm sending them to the bench, and they can go. I'm telling you right now. Go. If everybody listen, not everybody, but go listen. Watch. Bobby Knight has this incredible interview. He's sitting on the folded up chairs. He's kind of leaning back, and they're asking him, like, how do you keep these guys? He's like, the bench is a great equalizer. Like, I send them to the bench.
Yeah.
There's nothing more humiliating and embarrassing
Everyone
by
wants
getting
to play.
benched.
Yeah.
And you have to go home, even in the NFL level, and talk to your mom and dad if they're still around, or talk to your wife, your girlfriend, your brothers, your sister. Like, why'd you get benched? Why are you benched? It's humiliating. Mm-hmm. That's how you get a team to maybe quit making the same darn mistakes. Because, Tony, just the one route alone, how many times have they screwed up the route?
Yeah.
All year long, all last year, too. Now, there could be an argument, why is it even in there then? And I would sit there like, what are they? They're not smart enough to figure out the route? It's not a complex route.
Right.
And sometimes you run it well, and most of the time you don't. And when you run it well, guess what? The crosser's wide open, isn't he?
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So you could say part of that's coaching for not holding them accountable, right? But a lot of it's the player. Like, how are you, right? Gabe, why do you go rogue on that fly route when you're supposed to stay outside? Why do you go rogue and go inside? Why?
Yeah.
Why'd you do it?
Yeah.
What's going through your mind that in week, 11?
Yeah.
You're doing that.
And where's the accountability for having done it?
Several
times.
Right.
Like the first time, maybe it's, hey, like, you know what you're supposed to do, cut it out.
Right.
Right. But when it happens over and over and it results in big moments, the way that it has resulted in big moments, it's at some point.
Well, then I'm looking at the wide receiver coach.
Consequences. Yeah.
I mean, you got to. I know everyone praised him. Gabe, he knew Gabe in Buffalo. He couldn't get Gabe to run the right stuff or catch the ball.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want anybody to get fired, but, it's a business.
Someone needs to get fired.
It's a business.
They're 2-9.
Something's got to change within that team.
Like, for a team that had the expectations they did coming into the year, they're 2-9 and certainly going nowhere. Yep. Like, they could get eliminated from the playoffs, I think, this weekend if the results come out the right way this week. They got like a 1% chance going into the weekend.
You got to get Houston to lose, right?
Yeah.
But they're playing Tennessee, so.
Right. Being a playoff team, like, they're just in – they're obviously not going to be a playoff team this year. And I get it. They've won. They've been above 500 the last 2 years. Yippee. Throw a parade, right? Yep. They're 2-9 this year. And, someone's going to be at the brunt end of the consequences for that kind of thing. I have one more thing on this kind of Shad Khan area that I want to get into with you about it. Okay. And it's something that I see from the fans a lot here over the course of the week, but want to get your reaction to it. As we continue along, we'll discuss that. We'll take a look at some of the news from around the league as well as we get into hour 2 of the program this morning. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL, he's a master at recon. His car line takes you behind enemy lines on 1010XL.
What's your position? That's top secret.
Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Hey, Gabe Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company is Fleming Island's first and only craft brewery, founded by the co-founder and brewmaster of Wicked Barley. Barley and Pie serves up local brews made right in your backyard. Hungry? Dive into their sourdough Neapolitan pizza, made fresh in-house every day. Find your new go-to spot in Fleming Island at Barley and Pie Brewing Company.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
Hacker here. A couple weeks back, I received an invite. Not just any invite. It was to be the guest speaker at Awaken 180's virtual town hall. Every team member was there. The owner, Paige, my coach, Kate, and what seemed like 100 people from Awaken 180. My surprise? They invited me to stay for the full town hall. They talked client successes, company goals, future plans, you name it. There was nothing to hide. They all had one common goal of how they can help people better. It was amazing to hear, and it was amazing to see how happy and team-oriented everyone was. I mean, I already knew my coach had that mindset, but I thought I had the best one. Nope, they're all the best ones. That's the beauty of being company-led, not a franchise who often only looks at the bottom line. I suppose that's why Awaken 180 is now celebrating 10 years and has helped over 23,000 clients like me, Mike Dempsey, and Matt Hayes. See it firsthand while you're losing weight with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Discover luxury storage life at The Shed, opening soon in Atlanta Beach, for a place to store your cars, boats, and toys. A place for an office, a golf simulator, or a man cave. AC and plumbing available. The list of premium uses is endless. Take a tour on Instagram or go to theshedjacks.com.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen. Energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, save 20% on your entire project. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by Southern Oak Insurance. When they face off tomorrow in the Swamp, Florida head coach Billy Napier says the offensive line play will be critical.
Always protect and affect, right? Protect the quarterback, affect the quarterback. That'll be a big component this week for sure.
You can hear the game live Saturday on 1010XL, starting with the pregame at 10 a.m. Florida's men's basketball in Southern Illinois will face off at the O-Dome this evening. The Gators, ranked 21st, are coming off a home victory against Florida A&M. We'll stream the game live during the pregame beginning at 6:30 on 1010XL AM. In the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning fall to the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the East Coast Hockey League, Jacksonville Icemen will play a road game this evening against the Atlanta Gladiators. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:01, it's 56 degrees. Time at 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Mike Dempsey on assignment. He'll be back with us on Monday as we got the short week. We'll all be in holiday mode when we come in next week. Not only the bye this weekend for the Jags, and that's our question of the day. What are you planning on doing with the bye week for the Jaguars? How are you planning on spending your Sunday with no Jaguars football to capture your attention? And we've gotten some fun answers. We'll get to a little bit later on.
Good.
In the show this morning. I got the question I want to put to you about Shad Khan, at least to kind of cap on that discussion for us here in just a moment. But before we get to that, Tommy, let's go out to the phone lines.
Oh, cool.
For the first time today, 641-1010. John on the west side has dialed us up.
Best side.
What's going on, John?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Having flashbacks from the Rumble when I hear my man Tommy talking.
That's all right. Hey, John, how are you?
Absolutely. You know, Doug's doing the same thing that got his ass fired in Philly. He wouldn't get rid of the OC, and that's why they canned him. And he's doing the same thing. The team is a reflection. Sorry, I've got a little cold here. But the team is a reflection of the coach. If you look at last night, Cleveland Browns, they got the same record as we do. They were playing like the hair was on fire. I mean, I would give anything for our team to play with that kind of passion. And also, if we were to get the OC from Detroit, maybe he would bring Burnell with him to be our OC, and that would be like a dream come true. And I'll take your comments off the air. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. I love the show.
Same.
You too,
Thank you.
and get over that cold, my friend.
No doubt.
Yeah, look, I think Johnson's obviously a popular name for people who want to see the Jags fire the head coach and move on to the next guy. And there's been some kind of whispers. I know Pete Prisco has mentioned that Johnson may be interested in Trevor Lawrence, right? Like that kind of thing.
Sure.
And I do think Trevor being the quarterback here, when you look at that compared to the jobs that are expected to come open, it's a pretty good selling point.
Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't hurt you.
You got a couple running backs too.
Right. Like we've already discussed the idea of the coach is a reflection of, or the team is a reflection of their coach.
Yeah.
Right. And Doug Peterson, when he won big in Philadelphia, it's because he was willing to be the guy who just steered the ship.
Yep.
And he let the guys be the guys. They didn't have to be a bunch of nice guys in the locker room. Those guys were crazy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That Eagles team, that was a bunch of misfits.
Right.
And they put them all together, and he let them be misfits wherever they were. On the field, off there, he's like, whatever, they're winning. Who cares? You know, like, it's the way that he dealt with all that. They don't have misfits on this football team in that locker room right now, but they also don't have a bunch of guys that are going to get everybody in the room to fall in line with what needs to happen to win.
Yeah, I think you got to credit Howie Roseman, their GM, because he knows what kind of player he wants representing Philadelphia. I mean, you know what kind of, Philadelphia is. But Jacksonville's the same to me. I mean, come on, we're blue collar. We're not as big as that in other cities, but we're a blue collar, hard working team that loves their football team, that expects them to at least play hard and not make mistakes and be in the games. You know, they know they ain't going to win every game, but at least be competitive.
Tommy, as you know, this is developed, especially after the run that you guys had early.
Yeah.
But it's really the thing that's developed over the last 25 years is Jaguars fans want guys that when they get to a point where they are having that success, which everybody wants to see them have, they shove it in everyone's face.
Yep.
Right? Like they don't need their guys to be quiet about it.
Right.
When they're doing something. They want a bunch of guys on the field that reflect the attitude of the city, which is, you've been putting us down for 25 years.
Yep.
Take this. Right? Like that's what they want the attitude of the team to reflect. And they've had it for moments of time. In 2022, that game up in Tennessee, that was such a major game where they reminded them, this is the history of this rivalry. It's why the fans react to it the way they do. We need you to match that intensity in the game. And they did. For a day, it's Trevor Lawrence pointing at the scoreboard when someone's trying to talk to him from the Titan side of things. And when you see that the fans go, that's our guy.
Right.
Right? Like, that's our guy giving it to those guys. That's what they want to see, is you be the group of guys that are willing to say, shove it down your throat. Right? Everything that you've ever had to say about this city, this franchise, this team. Right now, there's no space for that to happen.
No.
Because they're 2-9. But they haven't really carried. They certainly didn't carry it last year.
No.
They did a little bit at the end of 2022, but they certainly didn't carry it last year, and they can't carry it right now in 24.
No, they can't. They can't. You know, back to Cleveland last night, I don't know what kind of coach Stefanski is. Like, I've never really heard about, him, but you look at all the veterans on that team, starting with Jameis Winston and how fiery that guy is.
Yeah.
You look at one of the best defensive players in the game, in Miles, their defensive tackles, Tomlinson, he's a veteran. Delpit's been around a little bit,
If you can't get him up for Thursday night football against 8-2 Pittsburgh, what can you get him up
Pittsburgh especially.
Right.
Yeah, so, again, you having veterans to help with that, I think's a big one. But no, you're 2-9, but look, this is what I want to see, and I know a lot of fans out there don't. But Tony, I want whoever's healthy, got to be healthy, to play, including my quarterback.
Yeah.
I want them to win every game. I don't think they will, but I'd love for them to go on a 6-0 run and carry that momentum into 2025. Does it hurt me in the draft? Possibly.
It will.
I don't look at the draft until it's draft. I mean, a lot of people do, but I don't want to talk draft during an NFL season, maybe towards the end when things are, 3-13 or whatever, and you're going to have the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we don't have the first pick in the draft. If we do, great. If we don't, I don't really care. I want this team to show some grit. I want them to show some fire. I want them to quit making mistakes. They've made them all year long, and they're the same ones over and over and over again. And I want them to show what they're made of. I'm not one of these we're playing for – no, you are playing for next year.
Yeah.
You're trying to take something from this year and keep the guys that help turn it around and help go on a nice run towards it. And even if you don't make the playoffs and you keep them and you get rid of the rest – I got a list for my podcast. I got 25 guys I'm keeping. The rest, I'd smell you later.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of the 6 games go, but out of that roster, out of that 48 or whatever, 53, I got 25 names. I'm not keeping the rest. They don't deserve it. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
And again, I do put some of that on the personnel decisions, okay? Put your best players out there.
When it's 25 of 53... yeah, like something's wrong with the personnel. If you really do feel that way,
well, they're not doing anything. So why keep them?
I'm with you. Like we've had the discussion about the 5 guys you'd keep on offense and defense. We had that. Yesterday was our question of the day, and on both sides of the ball, once I got past 3, I was like, okay, like I'll pick a couple guys, but it'll be half-hearted.
Yeah.
The guys that I'm picking at that point, and it's not that I think they're necessarily bad players. Like it's not that kind of thing. There aren't a whole lot of guys that I feel really good about as building blocks for the team, right? Beyond the guys that I look at and say, definitely a building block for the team going forward. So we can continue to get into that. I mentioned I had the shot content.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
To cap it off. And I think part of your response there is related to what I've seen fans talking about a lot. I've seen a lot of fans that are expressing some frustration about them not having made any moves yet with front office coaching staff to this point. And part of their concern is, what if they start winning games in the last 6, and it has some kind of impact on the ultimate decision that Shad Khan makes, right, on who stays, who goes.
Mm-hmm.
One, do you think that should have an impact with where they're at right now at 2-9? Is there some level of winning they could do here in the final 6 games that would change your opinion on whether or not whoever it is, Balky, Peterson, should be back in 2025, given what we've seen from them to this point? And what is your level of concern in that regard, just overall in general?
I don't know if it's a concern because, like I said, I'd rather have them win than not.
I know you would.
You know what I mean? So to me, that would show a lot. It would show a lot of character about the players, the coaches. I don't want to give up. You're a quitter if you give up. You're a quitter. You're a loser if you give up. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is, especially in the game of football. If you're going to lay down, for another guy and crazy, you know what I mean, on the football field, you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Don't play the game then.
It looks
Get
like
off
they
the
did.
field.
Right. It looked like they did on Sunday to some degree against Detroit,
You know
but
what
that
it felt
hasn't
like?
been typical.
It felt like San Fran last year.
Yeah.
They punched him in the mouth, and they didn't respond.
No
and then they
answer.
couldn't wait for the game to be over. They just couldn't wait for it to be over. But look, if I'm Shad Khan, and now you got to see how the rest of the year plays out, but I may demand a firing of the defensive coordinator if it continues.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's 1 year, I know, but you got to do something. Now, just think about this for a second, all the people that want him to do, Shad to do something. So, like, back to what I was saying about if he fires Doug, which I can understand the argument. But it does send a message out to the rest of the coaching candidates that you just fired a guy. Whatever the micro is, we don't know yet because they don't know. Maybe they have an insider, maybe they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But the macro is what? You're firing a Super Bowl winning coach that went 9-8 in 2 years, had some injuries, blah, blah, blah. Will come, there'll be reasons. And then you're going to fire him mid-season in his 3rd year. You know what I mean? Okay, now what if they finish strong? What if they do go 8-9 or 7-10? Let's just say they finish strong.
Yeah.
I still want changes on my staff. And I do think it's going to come down to Tony. And I know this is really, it's a little, I guess maybe it's not contradictory, but
yeah,
if they finish strong, I still think Shad has to make a decision between Trent and Doug. And if you're going to make that decision, you got to keep Doug and get rid of Trent, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think it would be hard at that point to bring in a new GM and handcuff him with a coach.
I'm okay if you get rid of all of them.
Right.
But if they do finish strong and you're like sitting there going, okay,
Right.
how can I fire this guy?
It feels like for the first time, Shad, rubber meets the road and you can't do half measures.
Right.
Not at this point. Not with the expectations that they had. Not with what we've seen happen since halfway through last year.
Yep.
Right? They've all been a part of whatever's gone on here since halfway through last year. It hasn't changed.
No.
Since whatever went wrong halfway through last season when they were 8-3 and playing a game on Sunday Night Football with a chance to potentially be the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yep.
They were in that position. 11 games, playing their 12th game of the season last year, and now they're at where they're at.
Yep.
They missed the playoffs last year, and now they're at where they're at.
Yep.
Right? Someone somewhere has to be held to account for where the franchise currently sits. And I'm with you. If I have my preference between which of those two guys' side I would be more on going forward, I'm with you. I would be more on Doug's side, but only by a slight margin. And I can't imagine bringing in a new GM and saying, by the way, you have to keep Doug Peterson as your head coach.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I just don't imagine that being a workable scenario for the team.
Look, I think if you do fire Doug, you have to get rid of Trent.
I'm with you.
But I could see a scenario based on how they finish. Now, if they don't finish well, no, then it's over.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If they continue to go down this path and they don't win another game or they only win one game,
like, I don't
you
expect,
got to make a change.
Right.
I'm talking about if they do finish strong.
Like, I'm not expecting 5-1 or 6-0 in the last 6 games.
I'm expecting 4-2 or get out of here. That's, you know what I mean? I mean, that shows, at least and it depends how those two are, but you can't go, you go 500. What's that make us? 5-12?
5-12.
Smell you later.
Yeah.
No. You don't finish 7-10 or better. I'm sorry. Right. Then it's probably over.
And I think there's a stark difference between when you're saying you expect is this is the bar that I'm setting for you, as opposed to, based on what I've seen, this is what I think they will accomplish in the last 6 games. Because I think it's hard to imagine that with the defense they currently have and that they're throwing out there.
That's got to change.
Right. Expecting them to go 500 in their last 6 games. And that's we have no idea what the answer is with Trevor Lawrence. But I think that's a really high bar for where they're at right now. And I'm okay with you holding them to account.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying this is what I expect you to be.
I just think if you don't, you got to fire them all then. I mean, if you're gonna go 5-12, come on. No.
Yeah.
After last year's fall and debacle and all this year, you didn't recover?
Right.
No. And your defense isn't doing what they're supposed to do? No. I'll tell you this, though, Tone, and I believe this. Put your best 11 out there on defense. Tell Eric to play defensive tackle. Keep Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon on the field as much as you can. Spell them when they're tired. Miller's never leaving the field for me, including on dime. He's my cover backer as well. I put Lloyd in more of a run defense, maybe pass rush type role, get him out of coverage. I would tell Ryan Nielsen to play the defense that you told me you were going to play, and that press, attack, not sit back and wait.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't have the talent, then let's see some change. Get Prince out there. What do you got to lose? Play him at corner. Maybe he's better press. All I know is this. When I see Darby beat, he's mostly in off coverage.
Yeah.
He's mostly in off coverage. Look, you look at the play, and Campbell would be one of my guys. I think he's a physical guy. And you take that touchdown on St. Brown. He's in great coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Goff put it in a perfect spot.
Sure.
And Savage, this is another thing. Okay, Darnell, you're a veteran. You're on the left side. There's no routes to your side except the back leaking out late. Where are you looking?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not see the crosser coming? You're the far safety from where he's coming. How do you not see that?
Yeah.
You jump the other route that comes vertical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you not? You're a veteran. You're not a rook.
Yeah.
Like, here I am. I'm on the left side. Oh, no routes.
Yeah.
Gee, where should I look? How about over here? Oh,
yeah,
somebody's coming.
It's hard to imagine it's being coached that way.
I mean, come on.
Right, like that kind of stuff. When they show up, you just, want to pull your hair out. Yeah, like it's crazy to watch, but it's happening with some consistency.
Yeah, they'll say they're just trying too hard. Whatever. Just do your damn job.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do your job.
No doubt. They're all held to a standard. Just there have been no repercussions to this point, despite
doesn't feel like
it. So we'll see if they find them over the last 6 games of the year. We'll take a deep breath and step away from direct Jaguars talk for a moment. We got confidence picks coming up.
Yeah, we do, baby.
Mike Dempsey has left his with Dylan Denmark. He'll let us know where we're standing on the season-long competition as we continue along. We'll also take a look at some of the news from around the National Football League. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Defense just stepping up and playing dominant.
A strong fence protects your yard like a stout defense protects the bank.
Number 1 takeaway defense.
Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
When you take a sip of Bold City Brewery's many flavors, you're taking a sip of this Bold City. In Duval, since 2008, they've been cranking out craft beer for 16 plus years now. So head to their production house on Roselle Street in Riverside or Bold City downtown and sample a Duke's, their legendary brown ale. 2 great IPAs, plus Duval Light, Killer Whale, and plenty more. It's all on tap at Bold City Brewery, downtown or in Riverside. Log on and taste the craft. BoldCityBrewery.com.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
This is Hayes Carlion for Skylife Elite. Explore the exclusive benefits of aircraft ownership. Partner with Northeast Florida's Elite Air Charter to unlock new revenue opportunities by putting your aircraft on charter, reducing your operating costs while enjoying full service management and exclusive perks. Whether you're a current owner or considering ownership, Skylife Elite provides a seamless, personalized experience that lets your investment soar. Call Skylife Elite at 904-403-2878 to discover more about this rewarding opportunity.
When you're hungry for midday sports talk, share a table with Helmets and Heels.
It's a bad idea to travel on an empty stomach.
Mia, Lauren, and Taylor. We like hungry.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day.
Moss Fire Grill in Riverside. Happy hour 3 to 7 with drafts, margaritas, and handcrafted bites starting at only $5. Moss Fire Grill.
See you on the rooftop.
Hi, I'm Chuck Farah. We know how important it is for you to have a vehicle after you've been injured in a car accident. So when we represent you for your personal injury claim, we'll help you get a rental car from the insurance company while your car is being repaired. And we'll provide this service at no additional fee. If you're hurt and you've got no car, let my team go to work for you. Farah & Farah, protecting you and your family. Call us at 396-5555 or go to farahandfarah.com. Jacksonville.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Beers.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Our most popular meat combo is ready to grill this season. Pounds and pounds of marinated steak tips and chicken, fresh ground beef, and homemade sausage. Just ask for the sampler combo.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products, services, best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Christmas. 0% financing, available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway. And as always, tell them Prosser sent you.
1010 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
We continue along as we head towards confidence picks.
Yeah, baby.
Mike Dempsey on assignment, but he's still participating via Dylan Denmark. The way the confidence picks work this week, it'll be 12 games. We'll be ranking those games 12-1, 12 being our most confident winner this weekend in the National Football League, 1 being our least confident pick among the 12 through the league. We have been doing it all season to this point. Mike Dempsey has forgotten to bring in our update the last couple of weeks, so we've been flying to some degree blind when it came to standings the last 2 weeks. But he has apparently given Dylan all the information we need to get back caught up. Dylan, what's going on?
Last week, Dempsey took it down, 76 points with 11-2 record. Tony was second, 71 points with an 8-5 record. And McManus, 7-6. With 62 points. Yeah, 62. So overall, the season, Mike and Tony both have 827.
Nice.
Exactly.
What are the
Tony,
records? Can I have the records?
Tony's record's 105-50.
Wow.
Mike is 1 game back, 104-51. And McManus, you are at 707. 707 points with a record of 89-66.
89-66.
You need to tighten up.
707, you said points?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
So with 8 weeks to go, you got to make up, about
real good.
120 points there on us. So Dempsey took down the week. Dylan, what are his first 3 picks here? 12-10.
First 3, number 12, he's got Kansas City. He's got Houston at 11, and he's got Denver at 10.
All right. For me, I will take Washington over Dallas on the 12 line, Kansas City over Carolina on the 11, and Detroit over Indianapolis on the 10.
Ooh, good call. Let's see. I got KC on a 12, Denver on 11, Tampa on 10.
All right. So what's Dempsey got 9-7 here?
Detroit at 9, Washington at 8, Tampa Bay at 7.
I have Houston over Tennessee on the 9-point line, Denver over Las Vegas on the 8-point line, and Miami over New England on the 7-point line.
9, I got Washington, 8, Miami, 7, Detroit.
All right. 6-4, Dylan.
Miami at 6, Minnesota at 5, and Philly at the 4.
Arizona over Seattle on the 6-point line for me. The Rams over Philadelphia on the 5. Chicago over Minnesota on the 4-point line.
Upset.
6, I got Houston. 5, I've got Philly. 4, I got Chi-Town.
All right. Final 3.
Arizona at 3, and he's got Green Bay at the 2. And he's got the Chargers beating the Ravens on the Monday night game at 1.
All right. I got Tampa over the Giants on the 3-point line, the Chargers over Baltimore on 2, and San Francisco over Green Bay on the 1-point line.
Green Bay at 3, Arizona at 2, Baltimore at 1.
All right. I'm assuming, Dylan, that as we were going through that, you weren't writing them all down for all of us? You did?
Yes, I did.
All right, so run them down for us. What do we all have?
All right. Mike Scott, Kansas City at 12, Houston at 11, Denver at 10, Detroit 9, Washington 8, Tampa at 7, Miami at 6, Minnesota at 5, Philly 4, Arizona 3, Green Bay 2, and the Chargers in the 1. Tony has Washington at 12, Kansas City at 11, Detroit at 10, Houston 9, Denver at 8, Miami at 7, Arizona at 6, Carolina 5, Chicago 4, Tampa Bay 3, the Chargers 2, and San Francisco 1. And last but not least, Tom McManus bringing in the rear. Kansas City at 12, Denver at 11, Tampa Bay at 10, Washington at 9, Miami 8, Detroit 7, Houston 6, Philly 5, Chicago 4, Green Bay 3, Arizona 2, and Baltimore at 1.
All right.
What did you have for 5 for Tony?
5, Tony. Rams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought
Rams
you
over
Carolina
Philadelphia.
in there. It's like, you didn't pick Carolina, did you?
No.
Okay.
Carolina got getting beat by Kansas City on the 11th.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, what's going
As
on?
most sensible people would. Have that one pretty high on the list this week. Before we get to one more break here, Pockets, let's take a look at some of the news from around the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Dallas wide receiver CeeDee Lamb did not practice due to back and foot injuries. The Cowboys also held starting guards Zach Martin and Tyler Smith out of practice yesterday. Carolina running back Miles Sanders missed practice for the second straight day on Thursday with an ankle injury. Chicago Bears running back DeAndre Swift was limited at practice with a groin injury. Kansas City running back Isaiah Pacheco limited at practice for the second straight day as he continues to work to get back on the field after an ankle injury that landed him on injured reserve. Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Ladd McConkey missed practice with a shoulder injury. Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans was a full participant at practice yesterday. It appears that he will be able to return to the field this week for the Buccaneers. And Detroit tight end Sam Laporta, a full participant at practice on Thursday there for the Lions. They didn't need him to beat the Jags.
No, they didn't. They'll be happy to get him back, though.
We'll see if he's able to get back on the field this week. We'll put a bow on this edition of Jaguars Today. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day asking, what are you going to do to fill in your time during the bye week this week for the Jacksonville Jaguars? We'll get to some of your answers and ours as we'll wrap it up next. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Hey, John, are you ready to cruise into the holidays in style?
Absolutely. The King of Price has incredible offers that you won't want to miss.
That's right. Buy a brand new 2024 Escalade and receive a $3,000 rebate.
Or if leasing is more your style, you can choose a 2024 Escalade or a 2025 Lyric and receive a $1,000 rebate.
It's the perfect time to upgrade your ride and make this holiday season unforgettable.
Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville. Plus tax tag title $899 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The Great American Race, where year after year, greatness is the destination.
Start your engines, let's go!
So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. The Daytona 500, February 16th, 2025. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Man, it's actually cooling off a little bit outside. That means sometimes you want a little something warm in your belly to keep you going. Look, Dandy Sandwiches, Dandy Subs, they've got something for you no matter what the temperature is, no matter what the time of day is, no matter what you're up to. If you're on the move in Duval, swing into a gate station and head to the Fresh Case. But if you want a little something to warm you up, how about a hot roast beef and provolone? Maybe the Italian combo that'll absolutely melt in your mouth, or an all white meat spicy buffalo chicken. If that's a little too hot for you, though, nothing beats the classic big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger. All those served on fresh ciabatta bread, which is baked locally, delivered daily, because that's one of the keys to Dandy. High quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible. Great variety? Absolutely. Like I said, protein packs, salads, fruit cups, veggie trays, and the full line of sandwiches and subs. When you're hungry in Duval, folks, it's simple. Do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
It's a Monday morning must.
We actually found it!
Yes. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill on 1010XL. Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Strength and resistance training are some of the best forms of exercise you can do to strengthen your muscles and improve your body composition. It may also lead to important improvements in metabolic health, meaning your blood sugar levels are easier to manage, and it also increases how many calories you burn at rest. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends resistance training twice per week in addition to cardio training. Let's get fit, Jacksonville.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Anderson was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors.
It's a game 80 years in the making. Join us for Thursday Night Football as we celebrate the 80th birthday of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game. The SEC and ACC face off January 2nd at 7:30 on Bill Gay grounds at Everbank Stadium. Don't miss college football pageantry on display as we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Tickets and hospitality packages are on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. Get yours today.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, assistant team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
In what has become a lost season for the Jaguars at 2-9, questions are abound about should we see Trevor Lawrence for the rest of the season. Lawrence is dealing with what has been reported as a left AC joint sprain in his non-throwing shoulder. Jaguars.com senior writer John Ogier on should we see Trevor after the bye week.
I would like to see him as long as it doesn't affect next offseason, which my understanding is it wouldn't in terms of if surgery is an option and all that. If Trevor wants to play, he can do it without injury, then even for beyond Brian Thomas Jr., he's still a young guy.
John Ogier of Jaguars.com. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
We obviously continue to react to nothing happening on the Jaguars front through the week, and we all have our different reasons for it. I know, we talked a few moments ago, Tommy, about the idea of the portion of the fan base that is frustrated it hadn't happened yet because they might start winning some, and does that change the math?
Yep.
Whether or not guys are back. I know you said you want to see them win as much as they can possibly win.
Yep.
Is that more because you just want to see the team win, or because you're just less concerned about who is or isn't on their way back? Because it could have some kind of impact, right? Like if they do find a way to start winning here in the last 6 games, so they did go 5-1, 6-0. I think that's a very long shot.
Yep.
This team being able to get that kind of thing done, but I wouldn't be surprised if that did have an impact on whether or not whoever is back next year for
including
the football
players.
team. 100%.
That list of 25 might shrink if they don't win games at all.
Like, I hear you. But obviously, to you, winning is more important than whether or not, say specifically, the GM Trent Baalke is going to be back.
Yeah. I'll always take winning over losing.
Okay.
No matter what. I mean, that's what they're paid to do. No matter how the season's going, they're paid to do their job. Every player in that locker room is not thinking about a draft pick. Maybe the front office is, maybe fans are, but the players don't. I mean, you don't even know who comes in, if he's going to be a stud, if he's going to be a dud. You have no idea until he gets there.
And if it would be at your position to take
you don't even know. You don't know who it's going to be, and who you just don't know until they get there. So I'll always take winning. Again, I keep saying it, but to me, it's all been attitude. It hasn't been talent. Mm-hmm. I think they had enough talent last year. I think they had enough talent this year. But the attitude has been terrible. And and that does come from the culture, and it comes from the lack of veterans that know what it takes to get it done and to consistently go out there and perform. It'd be one thing. Look, Buffalo and Detroit whooped us really good.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if we're just getting crushed, every week, week in and week out. That, you know what I mean? Then I'd be like, all right, this team sucks. And they still do, don't get me wrong. But I think they suck because of the wrong attitude and not doing their job, not executing. I said it last year. I mean, you can blame the play calling all you want. Some of it's rightful. I get it. Mm-hmm. But if they just executed better, you wouldn't be complaining. They wouldn't be 2-9. And that goes defense and offense. So, I want them to win, man. There is no tomorrow. I don't mean to go Rocky 3 on you, but there is no tomorrow. I'm here to play ball. I'm here to win. And by the way, every one of those players is fighting for their football lives.
Yeah.
Some of them may never play again.
Yeah.
They just may never catch on with the team again, especially if they don't fight all the way through the end of the year.
And just for clarity's sake for everyone that's out there listening, right? Like I've been very clear this offseason, every time that it's come up whether or not Trent Baalke should be brought back as the GM, I've said no. Like I'm not a fan of Trent Baalke being the GM and continue to be the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And at every opportunity I've expressed that opinion. I continue to express it now. I think that we're clearly on a path to that being the outcome of the 2024 season, but it hasn't happened yet. Fans are anxious to see that kind of thing happen, Tommy. And I think you're right? Like, I think there's nothing wrong with rooting for the team to win. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there is a portion of the fan base that hears that and says, why isn't he just screaming, fire Baalke? So with that in mind, I know you said there's obviously a pretty clear path to everyone being fired, right? Like that path is pretty clear.
Yep.
You're obviously more of a fan of, well, win some football games and then we'll see where they land with all these different discussions. Yep. If you were going to make the decision today, would Trent Baalke and or Doug Peterson be back in the jobs they currently have?
I would fire Trent before Doug.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
And I would give Doug a GM that aligns more with the way he coaches, with the laid back, not totally, And look, and I do believe this about Doug. And I would make Doug call the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, enough with Press Taylor. You don't have to fire him. You can keep him on your staff. He could be whatever you want to call him. But he's not going to be the coordinator. He's not going to be the play caller.
Yeah, we had a caller yesterday who called and asked us if you had to keep one of Baalke, Peterson, or Press Taylor for next year, which one would you keep?
Peterson all day long.
Why Peterson?
Because it's his offense.
Okay.
And I'm keeping him over Baalke.
I said, well, I'm definitely keeping him over Baalke.
Yep.
And I said, are you saying that we hire a head coach who wants to be the play caller so Press doesn't have those duties anymore? Because I do think if you were going to give me that as kind of a caveat to that question, that I'd probably say, all right, if he keeps Press as his OC, fine. Right. But I do think it's...
I don't think you can, Tone.
Right, I don't think so either. I think if you're cleaning it out, you're cleaning it out. And
I'm just saying, even with Doug, if you keep him based on how they finish, the broken record is Press. And I got nothing against Press, but I don't know why Doug just doesn't.
I don't think he's willing to cut ties with him.
He doesn't have to cut ties. He's just not calling plays.
Yeah. Like
it's his offense.
It feels like when one of those guys goes, they both go. Like I'm fine with that.
Look, I'm not telling him to fire Press. I'm telling him to take over the play calling.
Yeah.
And I may tell him to fire Ryan Nielsen if he doesn't turn it around the last 6 games.
My goodness.
That's for sure. And if they don't turn it around, I'm firing Balky over Doug. And I don't even know Doug that well, to be honest with you. I don't. I barely know him. I say hi to him when I see him at like a charity event, Coffins. Sure. But he probably hears all the stuff I talk about. He probably don't like me very much, and that's okay. That's why I don't get personal with these guys, because I want to be able to speak my mind and speak how I truly feel and not worry about a relation. I learned the hard way with Del Rio. Me and Del Rio became buds, and he heard me rip the team, and he literally texted me. He's like, it's got to be like that. And I called him during a break. I'm like, Jack, you guys stink.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? He's like, well, why do you have to have it in that kind of tone? And from then on, I'm like, you know what? I can't have a personal relationship with a current coach. I just can't, because I'm going to speak my mind and how I feel, and they don't always like it. And I get it. I wouldn't like it either. You know, if I was their brother or mother or spouse hearing what I say sometimes, I'd probably be pretty ticked off too. I get that, but it's a production business, and at the end of the day, it's going to come down to production. Now, I made it very clear. If they don't do well the rest of the year, smell y'all later.
I know you do.
But if you make a fight back and you show some fight, I'm still making changes.
Where. Yeah.
But I don't know who they are just yet.
So basically, you're open to the possibility that if they find some kind of success in the final 6 games, that may change the calculus on who is and who isn't here in 2025. I don't think that's unfair. I think we're both very much in agreement on, I don't expect them to find a way.
Yeah.
To win 4, 5, or 6 games in the final 6.
I'm not expecting it either, but no. I hope they do.
You leave open the possibility.
Yeah, hope for the fight. I want to see some character, man. I want to see some cojones. I want to see some swag. I want to see some attitude. I want to see a not make a mistake. Can you go one game without making mistakes? I'm not talking false starts. I'm talking not knowing your assignment. Yeah. Not doing the job, not making the catch, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can we go through a game with that? Show me what you got. But at the same time, if it doesn't go well, no. And by the way, even if it does, Shad has to. I don't know who it is. You gotta separate Doug and Trent, because they're not together, and they're not together. You already know. Eric Armstead's a perfect example why they're not together, because if they were together, Balky would go to Eric and be like, Eric, I don't care what I told you. We need you at defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. He's not doing that because he promised them to play end. That's how he probably got him to come here. Yeah, you want to play end? Sure. But things change, Tone.
Yeah.
Things change, and it's clearly, and again, I gave him credit for against the run last week against Detroit, even though they still killed us. Yeah. He was physical at the point of attack. He's better at defensive tackle.
He's definitely better at defensive tackle.
And he should not play anything other than that.
And the team ought to make that their prerogative, because their job is to be as good as they can be on game day.
But they can't.
And right now, something is getting in the way of that process. Right?
And kind of figure out what it is.
Right. Whatever that thing is needs to go. Right. Like whatever that is inhibiting that process.
That's a silo, man. Get rid of silos.
Is no longer allowed to stay in town. Let's get to our answers to the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Right. Just asking, what are you doing with the bye week? We'll make that a 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brought to you by
Double Checked. Cybersecurity made simple.
Here's some of the answers we got on Twitter from Gaines. He said, the same thing I've been doing since week 4. Ignoring their existence until Balky and Tuck are fired. David, the same as how I've been spending it when they play, being productive around the house. They are checking out. From Matt, being happy. Jaguar Man said, red zone, Turkey Day prep. It is Turkey Day prep weekend.
Oh, yeah, man. Big
No
time.
doubt about that. From Duval T going to Barnes & Noble and getting a new book. Good luck to you, sir, in your venture. From Anato, offshore fishing with a couple of my brothers, perhaps. Have a good time, man.
There you go.
It's a beautiful weekend for getting out on the water.
Yeah.
From Matt, Christmas decorating time and actually being able to enjoy Red Zone. From UCF Jag, rewatching the Lions game to make me a tougher man. Not bad. Cristiano, enjoying the feeling of not having to deal with my favorite team being embarrassed on the field. We're all looking forward to that. And from Fernandina, Philly, we got Cancun, baby. Doug probably thought he'd be sitting right next to me, and now his punishment is to keep working. He's got a picture of it. He's in a beautiful spot down there in Cancun. What do you got coming up this weekend, Tommy?
Oh, man. Let's see. My girls are going to Daytona for the weekend for a dance convention type thing. My youngest is performing her solo down there tomorrow, so we're going to go down just for the day. Nice that it's only in Daytona, not too far. Sunday, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna watch football. I love NFL football. Whether my Jags are playing or not, I'm watching NFL football.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I might not sit there and watch, but it's on, and I'll be checking it out. Listen. One of my favorite parts of the year is November, December, and the second half of the afternoon games. I mean, to me, if we could bottle that up and keep it for a while. It's one of my favorite parts of the entire week. It's meaningful football a lot of the times. The boys are separate. The men are separating themselves from the rest. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's tough, physical typically. The scheduling is usually pretty good, So, and it will be cooking and, drinking and grilling. And
on Red Zone, Tommy, they call it the witching hour. And they do it throughout the year. But when they get to the fourth quarter of the 1 o'clock games, they call it the witching hour.
Oh, cool.
Which is, it's a good time. Dylan, what you got coming up this weekend? I know you're going to be on tonight.
Yeah, I'll be on tonight with Friday Night Lights with Hacker. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the Gator game. And Sunday I'm going to try golf somewhere. I haven't played golf in about a month, so.
There you go.
It's about time to do it.
Again, the weather's beautiful.
Oh, the weather's incredible.
To get outside, if that's what you're going to be doing. I'll be doing the Bulls game tonight. And I'll be doing what I do during every bye week since we've had access to it. I'll be watching Red Zone.
Right.
That's what I do. When I get home from Jaguars games, I watch Red Zone. Yep. And then I watch Sunday Night Football. When the NFL is on, it's on.
Yeah. Totally.
Wherever I'm at, I'm going to be locked in for the NFL, despite my feelings about where the Jags are in this season. And look, I probably can't feel it the way a bunch of fans express it. Right. I can see their frustration, and we'll continue to react to it because I doubt anything's going to happen here in the next couple days, and we'll be back into it on Monday and turning our attention to what's going to be happening with Houston coming into town.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're 2-9. It is what it is.
If nothing's happened, I don't think anything's going to happen.
I don't either.
No. I mean, as far firings are concerned, I don't see that.
I don't either.
That's over.
It's kind of like they got 6 games left, so there's the possibility they could go 6-0.
Right.
We still got time, so there's the possibility that they can make decisions on that today, but I think it's
just remember,
very long shot.
It's a big move for the owner to fire this coach midway through the year.
No doubt. That'll do it for us here on Jaguars Today. Helmets and Heels coming up next. So for Tom McManus, for Dylan Denmark, I'm Tony Smith. For an on assignment, Mike Dempsey will be back with you on Monday. Enjoy your bye weekend as the Jags are not there to add to your misery, at least this weekend at 2-9. They can't fall to 2-10 this weekend. We'll see what happens against Houston here in 9 days. Thanks for listening, everyone.